Hi guys, this is Patricia from Unity Cat Crochet. So I didn't do temperature blanket Thursday. I got some bad news, and so I just didn't feel like talking, and I didn't do it yesterday. But I do have it up to date. Well, except for it doesn't have today's on it because I do a week at a time instead of every day. And if I do it right, my mom's picture will be up in this corner whenever you watch it, probably tomorrow by the time I get done editing. But if not, I will put her picture in my community tab of her progress. But I'm okay with it, except for when it got to the yellow. I thought it was strange, but maybe once it's all one completed project, I'll fall more in love with yellow. I don't know why, but I like yellow when it's mixed with other colors, like an orangey yellow or in a bunch of colors that make up a sunset color, like the cat blanket I did. But anyway, it just was hot a couple of days, like 70s hot, which is really strange because today it was like in the 40s. So, and our power went out last night in the middle of the night. So anyway, that's the temperature blanket. I'm throwing a couple of things into one video, but I'll try not to make it too long for you. And I'm going to do my best to do a late night knit and chat at some point. Tonight could have been the night, but I'm just too excited because tomorrow we're going to go and look at a different cat than what we were going to look at. My bad news was, even though I told them that I was disabled and I needed a companion cat and that I lived in Charlestown and I'd have to drive an hour to their adoption place, they neglected to tell me that they don't hold cats. So they adopted the cat that I had read about and researched about and decided that I wanted to go adopt that cat and make it part of our family. So I was pretty, just really, really sad yesterday. But I'm good again. My brother pointed out there are other cats that still need to be rescued. That cat has been rescued, and there are other cats, and that I already have an appointment with them because I was like, I'm not dealing with those people, they seem heartless. But I understand their point. I am an adult. I just think it was very dirty what they did. But anyway, regardless, everybody deserves another chance. Somewhere in the Bible, somebody asked Jesus, I believe, how many times you should forgive somebody. And he said 70 times 7. I don't know if you guys remember that or have ever even read it. But, and all that turn the other cheek stuff. So I was stabbed in the heart, basically. But it's okay. There's other cats there. And there's one an awful lot like the one that I was going to adopt. And so I'm going to visit that cat tomorrow. Since I already have the appointment and I was all excited about a tiny road trip. An hour's not super far for us, but it is a little bit of a road trip. So I was going to get a special coffee and go see the cat. So I still am, just not the same cat. And I made it a blanket and everything, but so the blanket will be for the new cat. It's all okay in the grand scheme of things. I'm not worrying about my house falling in or not having food to cook for my family or anything like that. It's just not the end of the world. I'm emotional, and it just really, But anyway, I researched again all the cats that they had, since I already had an appointment there. And there was one that was just a few months older than the other one. Not too bad. Still enough of a young cat that we can bond, you know. But anyway, so I made if you guys look at my community page, you can see the blanket I made for the other cat. Well, I'm making one to donate. And I will be finished here shortly because I'm just using the yarn. This is the Neon Stripes Super Saver Red Heart. And as soon as I'm finished, when we get there, when I adopt the other cat, I'm going to donate this one for the next cat that gets adopted. So he'll have a blanket on his way home, or she. But yeah, One Skein does these blankets. They measure 17.5 inches tall to 16.5 inches wide. Kind of like a cat rug, really. Or a blanket for a kitten. Because you could wrap a kitten in it if you needed to. But the main thing is they're washable. So really good for a rescue place, you know. But anyway, yes, tears were shed yesterday, but they will not be shed today. So I was tagged by Sam and maybe other people. I don't remember. Everything completely went out of my head when all that happened. But for Spring Fling challenge questions, and I've read them a little bit, but I'm not real familiar, so I brought up the one on Kim's channel, Yarning for a Smile. I'll put her link in the description. They're all printed out here, and Sam may have done it on hers too. I don't remember, but so I hope that I answered the questions entertainingly enough for everybody. Okay, question number 1. What do you like to do in spring that you can't do in any other season? Well, I like to get my rose bushes trimmed. They are knockout roses, and I have pink and, hot pink actually, and red. They don't smell. The yellow ones do, but they grow beautiful, huge blooms, and the bush gets gymongous, and you have to cut it back about halfway every year because it just grows that much more. And then when we get our storms, which we tend to do during this time of year, it gets so heavy with the blooms it gets knocked over. So my husband had to replant it down one year because we had tornado winds, and he stomped it back in there and it lived. They're just really resilient. If you want some beautiful blooms and you don't mind that they don't have a smell, those are the plants. They are very drought resistant. They take a lot of rain. You know. But anyway, so my favorite thing to do, which I can't do anymore, is get those trimmed back. My husband does it. And I like to plan what herbs that I'm going to have on my front porch for cooking, and just to enjoy watching them grow. And but you can't put them out just yet, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But and I like to sit outside on the porch. I go out there and just like breathe, because that temperature is the best temperature for me. Fall and spring are just my favorite weather. I tend to run hot. I don't get cold, not very often. And when I do, it's because I don't feel good. Because if I'm asking for a hot water bottle, which is how I get my core temperature back whenever it gets too low, it's because I don't feel good. And then I'll fall asleep and wake up and be too hot, and then I'll be right as rain again. Just how it happens with me. Okay, so what is your favorite springtime flower? Well, okay, crocuses are my absolute favorite. If you look at my some of my thumbnail pictures, and it was in a couple of my shorts videos and on my community page. Crocuses are this purple flower that grows in our yard, and they're wild, and they just pop up, and that's how you know spring's fixing to happen, because that's when they grow. They grow like with the daffodils and stuff, but they're the first one. Like my crocuses came up a couple weeks later, the neighbor's daffodils came up. Or tulips. I'm not sure if they're tulips or daffodils. I think they're daffodils. But anyway, so yeah, crocuses are my absolute favorite springtime flower. It says, what is your favorite thing about spring? So we used to live way far out, and when we would drive home, Indiana is a tons of farmland. If you're not in like a major city, there's a lot of rural farmland, and you drive back past the fields before anything's got a chance to grow in them, and when you do, there's this beautiful blue purple. Now, purple isn't my favorite color, but I like this about springtime, because I like purple really well, just it's not my favorite color, but I love it because the fields just fill up with heather. It's a deep blue purple, and the fields just get covered with them. It looks like somebody just splashed the fields with the paint. They paint the fields, the flowers do, and they grow in lieu of the plants until the farmers till everything up, which probably helps the crops that they plant in there. And so everything's just got this purple. And then like the dogwoods and stuff start blooming, and there's like white flowers and pink flowers, and that's my favorite part about spring. Okay, and the weather. I just love the weather, and that's the next question. It says, what is the weather like in your area in spring? Well, it's a two-edged sword. Because of the warmer temperatures, but you still have the cold hanging around from winter. Sometimes we've been known to have snow in April. Not much lately, but it can happen. As a matter of fact, we were married April 16th, and in '94, and it sprinkled snow that day. Sprinkle. But anyway, of course that was a little bit more north, but we still have had it here. And so on the days where it gets hot, like in the 70s, like those yellow colors in my blanket, and then like a cold will follow that, that's when we get our tornadoes. The hotter it gets, the more likely that there's going to be unstable weather. So our tornadoes tend to happen in the springtime, and they're really scary. So the weather is beautiful in spring here, and we're in the Midwest in Indiana, southern Indiana, but it could come with a price if the right conditions are met. So it says, when do you start your garden, if you have one? And that was the thing that I was saying earlier about when I start planting my herbs. So there is a tradition, but it's a tradition that is well scientifically studied. The first Saturday when we have Derby, after Derby, then we can plant, because usually the frost is gone by then, and that's coming up. It's the first Saturday in May is when the Kentucky Derby is, and we're just right across the river, like 15 or 20 minutes. We could just drive over there and watch horse races if we did that, which we don't, but we do on Derby Day, and it's a lot of fun. I don't bet or do anything like that because I don't believe in it, but we do like to pick the horses just for fun, and you have dip, and people make derby hats and do fun derby things without the gambling and stuff. I think my wheelchair is going sideways. Hold on. Yeah, I was on the edge of something. Not good. So anyway, yeah, people have what they call derby parties, and some of them are wild, and you don't want to go to those. But I like to have dip and chips, and we pick the horses and we watch the race. And my favorite part is right before that, they get up and sing the national anthem and sing My Old Kentucky Home. I cry every time. I'm not from Kentucky, but my husband is. And this cat that we're fixing to adopt is from Kentucky, and that's where we're driving, is into Kentucky, about an hour deep in Kentucky. But yeah, so around Derby time, there's what we have is Thunder Over Louisville is about a week or 2 weeks before Derby, and that's the biggest fireworks show. Well, definitely in the United States. It's huge. It's there's music assigned to the fireworks. There's like a whole thing. They start for Thunder Over Louisville right after Thunder, and the fireworks and everything is over. Right after that, that's when they start planning for the next one, because it takes that long. There's tons of fireworks. They basically blow up a bridge. There's like fireworks raining down from the bridge. It looks like a waterfall. I mean, get on and look it up, because there's videos online you can watch and see. There's big artillery cannons that they shoot off of the bridge, and just tons and tons of fireworks. And it's beautiful, and it's hard to get any spot around the river at that point, because early on in the day, people camp out, and they they pick their spot, and they put down blankets or tents or whatever, and they have coolers, and just the family stays near the river all day. And there's an air show with planes from World War II and all kinds of the wars, and the helicopters, and the Coast Guard, which my brother just retired from, but he still works there, but as a civilian. They do rescues in the river with the Coast Guard helicopters, and I mean, you name it. The stealth bomber, several years in a row. I don't know if it has been the last couple of years, but you could go out to the field and be near the stealth bomber. I never got to go, but man. Whew. So now that I'm more less able to walk around, I just watch it. We have a big screen TV. I just watch it on there, and I get to hear all the music. You get to see the pilots' faces, because the cameras get right up on the planes as they're going by. So, I mean, it's much better in person, but if you can't do all that rigmarole of camping all day and being down there by the river, and usually it's the rainy season, so you never know how good it's going to be. It might be muddy. And then there's rows of porta potties if you got to go to the bathroom. So you're standing in a very long line that 1 million people have went to the bathroom in. So your best bet, and all the restaurants that are on the river do this, they sell spots at their tables. So you could buy tickets for your friends and have a table and sit there all day, and you get so many drinks. It's a lot. You pay a lot to sit there. But you get the best view of the fireworks, and then you have your meal and your drinks included to a certain extent. Anyway, it's a big, huge thing. And then there's a race where people run, and just craziness around that time. But, what was my point? Oh, spring and what the weather is like. Yeah. So, I mean... Yeah, oh no, it was when you start your garden, right after Derby. So Derby weekend and on, which is usually around our anniversary. It was April the 16th is our anniversary, and it's usually around that time, the first Saturday in May. So if you're going to plant a garden, it's better after then, and it's just a tradition around here. Okay, so do you celebrate Easter? Well, yes and no. I don't celebrate Easter as in it's called Easter. We celebrate Resurrection Day. We celebrate the day that Jesus came back from the dead, and we have ham and all the food and the church service, and like we do candy and let the kids color eggs and stuff like that, but as in God's creatures, and God created these, and not we can have chocolate bunnies, but it's not an Easter bunny that brings the eggs. My son was never taught about the Easter bunny or the tooth fairy or Santa Claus, and he had a great time because I made it fun. I mean, if you know anything about me, I love to be crafty, and I was a mother. That's all I ever wanted to be. Mother first and foremost, and so I never let my son do without the fun of all the holidays. We just didn't add the Easter bunny or the tooth fairy or Santa, which caused us a problem when my son was in kindergarten because he would tell the other children, he would enlighten them. And so I've had to do a lot of apologies over that, but not that I will never apologize that I didn't tell my son those things. He believes me when I say stuff, because I try not to tell him any falsehoods except for around Christmas time, and he knows that it's okay to fib around Christmas time because you can't give away what the presents are going to be. So I tell him he's getting socks, or he's 25 now, but when he was littler, oh no, you're getting underwear. But anyway, so we celebrate Easter, but only we don't call it Easter, and we don't do the Easter bunny or those things, but we do teach about Jesus and the tomb, and what we believe that it's all about. Okay, it says, do you crochet or knit anything special for spring? No. The reason why is I don't really like pastel colors. I just have an abhorrent aversion to Easter colors. I don't like them. And I don't really do like Easter egg pot holders and bunnies. I like bunnies, don't get me wrong, but I just never had a want to crochet one. and eggs. I don't want to crochet an egg. I like pumpkins. I've crocheted a pumpkin. I would, however, I do love chickens. Chickens are one of my favorite farm animals besides cows, and I would crochet a chicken if I learned how. Or a turkey or a pig. Bunnies never were my thing, or anything that you would consider spring related. I don't like pastels. I hate them. No offense to everybody out there who likes pastels. You do you, and I'll do me, and we'll all live together. But anyway, it says, okay, so what is your favorite spring color? Well, like I said, those flowers that, they're like a deep bluish purple. like heather and crocuses, because they come out in spring. That would be my most favorite spring color. Not a lot of orange, although those crocuses do have an orange, I guess you'd call it stamen or whatever that thing is in the middle. And that is really pretty. If you check out my pictures, you can see it. It's a really like a duckbill orange, very pretty. It says, do you do spring cleaning? Well, I'm not the most organized person. And I do spring cleaning in the fact that we rent, and my landlord does inspections every year. It's just what they've done every year. And they do a walkthrough of the house. So I tend to get rid of boxes and stuff that I'd been collecting over the period. You know, you get a lot of yarn or whatever that you get through the mail, and tend to get the cobwebs from the corners. So I guess you could say I do spring clean, but it's not for spring cleaning. It's just for inspection, and it just happens to be around spring because that's when we signed the lease 10 years ago on this house. So it says, do you go anywhere for spring break? Nope, not once. Never have. Unless you count my wedding, because it was near spring break. As a matter of fact, it's really hard to go anywhere and rent a place on our anniversary, because every hotel and everything, especially with Thunder over Louisville and stuff around here, although we wouldn't need to rent a hotel near our house, but just everything is booked during that time. Spring break, Thunder over Louisville, you just can't plan anything near there. Just you can't. So no, I've never went on spring break, even as a child. You know, being a teenager and all that, I never did. I lived lived in Indiana most of my life, but then the rest of my life was, we moved around a lot, and so when I was 12, we were living in Indiana at that moment, and then I moved up to Michigan till I was 19, and then I moved back down, started straight working, and just started my adult life. So when I was 20, I was married, and when I was 24, I had my son, and we worked before my son all the way up, you know. So I didn't really do any of that. So no. No would be the answer. I could have just stayed with the short version, huh? So, oh, that's all the questions. We made it! So I hope that it was interesting enough and not too weird, and not everybody I know celebrates Easter, though we don't. But, I mean, we celebrate Resurrection Day, but I believe that people are all brought together for a reason. I believe that we're all good friends because of our differences. And so no need to tell me that, you know, my son missed out on anything, because he didn't. Man, that kid was bolt rotten, still is. And I made things fun in different ways, and he just knew that Jesus provided the money for the presents that he got, and he was grateful to his mom and dad and to Jesus, you know, for his Christmas presents and the food he ate and everything. So he had an exciting growing up, lots of crafts, and we went places, and museums, aquariums. You know, he's well-rounded, and now he's going to move and leave me. But then he's going to get to celebrate another culture and learn, you know, and see the world. So I'm proud of him, although it's going to be hard. I'm going to need every single one of you. You got my email. Some of you know where I live. I'm gonna need all y'all. But anyway, I hope this was. When we've been talking 30 minutes, well, split it up if you have to. And if I can get that picture of my mom's blanket up in the screen, I will. If not, I'll put it on the temperature blanket. I'll put it on the community tab. And wish me luck. Well, you'll probably be watching this in the morning, and I have a 3:00 appointment in Kentucky, so yeah, I hope I get to meet my next new companion, and then I will do a debut of my kitty cat if it works out. I don't want to get my hopes up because I was really sad when the other one didn't. So but anyway, my love to all of y'all. I hope to get a little bit back to normal with the what's in my cup, what's on my hook, what's on my mind videos. This was kind of like that, except for I didn't have anything to drink except for some water. But yeah, I want to continue to do those, and late night knitting chats and stuff like that. Things are getting more normal, and I'm going to have my new companion cat, and I think it'll start to work. So I mean, you could already tell I'm getting back on track, and yeah, so it's hard ending. You never know what to say. Just go out and share the love, share the joy, share your passion, do what you can. And if you can't do anything, if you don't have money or time or anything else, remember to give somebody a kind smile as you're walking past, because you never know what they have been through that day. And a little smile can just really help a person. It's helped me. I know that I've affected other people, and it's free and it doesn't hurt anything. And putting a little bit more joy into this world right now is an awesome thing. So I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.